Welcome to another GeekDad interview. I will be your host, Rick Rebello, and on this edition, we will be talking to Dr. Mego, Paul Clark, about the return of Mego 4 years ago, what the company has done, what they hope to continue doing, and sort of the toy industry, where it stands today, and where they would like to see it go. So please listen on. First question I want to ask you, it's been a couple of years since Mego has sort of returned. What have you expected that has come true? What has surprised you since you've been back? And what are you looking forward to?
Okay, let's take it from the top.
Yeah.
Since we came back in 2018, I knew that Star Trek would be a major license for us to do since it was Mego. I was very pleasantly surprised that we were able to get the DC superheroes, not only for 14-inch, which was kind of a new format, but also for 8-inch. They no longer, since Mattel gave up the license, they're not really doing it exclusive. Right. So McFarlane and Spin Masters has the DC license, but that's for mass market toy section. We're actually able to do it in mass market, but in the collector section. We're in a whole different area in Walmart and Target than the toy section. So we're aimed at the collectors. What I was really happy about was that we were able to get Planet of the Apes, because that Fox was taken over by Disney, and for the longest time, Disney was just saying, we don't know what we're doing with that yet. It's not available. And my boss Joel kept asking, and finally somebody at Disney said, fine, we have a Fox division, and we're making Planet of the Apes now. So immediately, what I wanted to make was a General Ursus from beneath the Planet of the Apes. The Mego did Ursus Urko, like from the TV show, in purple, but it wasn't quite either one. I said, we're going to do Aldo from Battle of the Planet of the Apes. We're going to do as much Planet of the Apes as we can. We've already done the Caesar, and there's more to come.
Excellent. So, what would you say so far in the market nowadays that maybe has disappointed you or been extremely difficult since you've brought Mego back?
Well, it's just awesome to be doing Mego, but obviously the prize we won is Marvel.
Yeah.
But Hasbro, and we actually are working with Hasbro, doing a G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow 2-pack that's available only through Hasbro Pulse. We've talked to them about, obviously we'd like to do Star Wars and Marvel. We even showed them some custom Marvel Megos that we've done as ideas like, look, Amigo Dr. Doom. But we have time. Mego has only been back for 4 years. Yeah. 2 of them having been COVID, which made it very difficult. And there's a lot of issues now with getting product in through the ports. So there is a lot of frustration, not really in the character selection. The frustration comes from being able to go to the factory and oversee production properly, and then the delay in getting them from China into the stores. And that's a frustration that everybody's feeling right now through every product. So we're just, it's not like we can really, do much about it.
So next question, what has been your most successful line and figure since Mego's return?
Okay. The most successful line has been the monsters. Mego really only did 4 public domain versions of Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and Mummy. And they were cool, but they were definitely kid goofy, which it should have been in 1974. Since coming back, horror has become a much more not really major, but it's a lot more accepted different types of horror movies. We mostly sell to adults, so we're not really selling to 7-year-olds. So we actually could do The Exorcist, we could do Pennywise, we could do Freddy Krueger. Things that Mego in the old days wouldn't have done because it would have been too harsh for kids. Chucky. Kids now are a lot more, and our customers are children and adults. So, and as I walk around this convention, I'm amazed at how many adults are really glorifying, costumes. But the Creature from the Black Lagoon
Really?
has always is a good seller. He has probably been the best-selling monster we've done, even though we've done 4 versions of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Including the Boris Karloff version with Universal. But once we got the Universal license, I said, Creature from the Black Lagoon. We will do him in 14-inch, 8-inch, black and white, glow in the dark. We will just keep putting them out. I said, for some reason, the Creature from the Black Lagoon has this incredible following.
Oh, that's fascinating. I would have never guessed that, even though I love the Creature. And I collect them, but I wouldn't have guessed that would have been the tops. Yeah,
it's a quiet everybody, and then there's a hierarchy in every license.
Yeah,
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Right.
Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman.
Yeah.
But the Creature, I think, really has replaced Dracula, or he just kind of wedges in between Dracula and Frankenstein as like a very popular monster.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah. And you were mentioning yesterday that Michael Burnham has been a big seller for the Star Trek series, for the new Star Trek series.
Yes, because now the older Star Trek guys, the Kirk Spock guys, look at it as, I don't like that. That's new and different. But we've gone to the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, and we're watching all over. It's like there's a great love for Discovery and Saru. And so you have to do I said, we got to get Discovery in our license because I want to make Saru, and Michael Burnham is a strong black female character,
right?
And that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just like Uhura resonated with the earlier generation, with the classic Star Trek. And I love Star Trek, and it has a 60-year pantheon of characters that I want to go long and deep in. Listen, for Topps, as a Topps exclusive, we did Quark and the Borg Queen. We're going out. We just came out with Kang the Klingon, whereas Mego did a generic Klingon, which was basically from the animated series. We're doing Kang and Koloff. We're going to do motion picture Klingons. We're doing Worf from Next Generation. Klingons are very popular in the Star Trek universe, and we're going to go deep into it. And other aliens.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to that because, like you said, especially being a classic Mego Star Trek collector, having that just one sort of generic Klingon.
You need army building.
You do. You really do.
I said we need to make not just the Romulan, but the Romulan commander.
Yeah.
And I fully expect to do the female Romulan commander from Enterprise Incident.
Excellent.
Because I know all the episodes.
Yeah. So any upcoming, you probably can't divulge, but is there any upcoming licenses or characters that you're excited about that have not been put out yet?
So many.
Yeah.
I go to sleep at night just counting them. And the problem with my job is I don't get to leak.
Yeah.
I can't be the guy that breaks the news.
Yeah.
I have to keep my mouth shut until there's a press release.
Yeah.
And then I can jump in and say, well, the scope was done by this guy, and the sewing was done by this lady, and and I can talk once the gag is off.
Yeah.
But the last thing you want, and I love that every interview, guys are like, well, tell us what's coming up. I'm
You can't.
This is the licensing business. Is you have to make contracts signed because the last thing you want to do is say something before the ink is dry, and then something happens and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I have got prototypes at home of characters that I probably will never get to make, and that really breaks my heart.
Right. Right.
that, and I keep those prototypes safe
Yeah.
for the day, praying for the day when the clouds part,
Yeah.
the sunlight comes through, and we can do that character.
Yeah.
And then I can go, we got it.
Because I gotta say, as a fan and a collector, and knowing that horror's doing well, the big one I'm waiting for is like a whole Dark Shadows set, because that's like I said, especially for my age demographic,
I know.
and
And I'm sorry, but you're an old man.
I know.
I know Dark Shadows. I know it well. I've studied.
Yeah.
I was actually involved with the guy who made Barnabas 8-inch versions of Barnabas Collins,
Yeah.
Angelina, and the Werewolf.
Yeah.
Whose names escaped me this morning, but he used my Mego tooling to make those in my factory.
Yeah.
And so I know intimately how many he made and how they sold.
Yeah.
And Barnabas sold well,
Yeah.
but the others don't.
Yeah, it's a huge drop off.
As I said, there's a hierarchy
Yeah.
in licenses.
Yeah.
And so, Barnabas Collins would be great.
Yeah.
But the licensing on that is not clear.
Yeah.
The problem with a lot of older licenses is there's no studio that holds it. You have to go back to the production company or their next of kin, and then the actor's likeness is never part of it.
Right.
So now you would have to go run down the next of the estate
Yeah.
of
Dan Curtis.
Well, no, not Dan. Dan Curtis was the producer.
Yeah.
But Barnabas was
Jonathan Frid.
I was going to say Frakes. I went, no, that's not right. The coffee's still kicking. So you'd have to go to his next of kin and get his likeness. So now and they all want, like 15%.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, now we've got a double royalty. How many are we going to sell of these? For Candyman, we did go to Tony Todd and get his likeness. Because if you don't make it look like Tony Todd, there's no point in doing Candyman.
Absolutely.
And we did the math and said this will be a popular enough character, and there's multiple Candyman movies, but I was like, and it's just cool, but we can't do that all the time.
Well, I'm glad I asked that, because I'm always curious about the complications in securing these things,
and sometimes people don't want to know how the sausage is made.
Right.
It's like I'm always on the message boards, on the Facebook groups. I try to explain why something's problematic.
Right.
And sometimes you just get, well, just make it. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know I was dealing with a 7-year-old.
Yeah, they don't understand the whole thing with litigation and litigious people.
Yeah, it's frustrating our end too.
Yeah.
But when we putting this stuff in Walmart and Target, it's almost like a bug zapper for litigation. If it was just Mego making it, if it was just, if we were a little company selling them on the internet and no assets, then you probably could bootleg it and get away with it, and beg, and deal with it later. Yeah. But when you place product in Walmart and Target, it becomes this, wait a minute, it's like it's now on display, So
I want to thank you guys, especially for what I've been really excited about has been the Hammer horror figures.
Yes.
And it's funny, I have a lot of friends who are, very sophisticated. They would never, want toys or anything like that. And I sent them the picture of my Peter Cushing, and they were like, okay, so where do I get that?
Well, let me tell you. In Walmart this January will be an end cap that has a Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, Dracula, Van Helsing 2-pack.
Oh, nice.
With the candlesticks.
Oh, wow. All right.
So Van Helsing we've put out 2 ways.
Yeah.
With a very small wooden stake.
Yeah.
And now with the candlesticks.
Nice.
Which was supposed to be in the first version.
Yeah.
But the tooling took too long.
Yeah.
So we just got it out, because the reality is in toy production, it may not be perfect, but you got to ship.
Right.
You can always make it. Mego made a lot of running changes in their production line over the years.
Yeah.
But if you don't have product on the shelf, you can't sell. And I know guys that are like, well, you should never send anything out unless it's perfect. I go, well, that's not reality.
Well, those are the same guys who will then complain that it's taken you years to put it out. You know what I mean? It's like, so you really can't win.
And I know guys who are perfectionists who never get any production out the door.
Exactly.
They keep, talking it over and then working in, and well, I won't put it out till it's, we sell no wine before it's time.
Yeah.
We're not selling wine.
Yeah.
This is action figures.
Correct.
These are inexpensive toys. When you were a kid, you didn't question all the fine details, and sometimes you have to just let it go. All right? But I understand. I'm a fan too.
Yeah.
Sean Sampson is a makeup artist for horror movies. He sculpted both Christopher Lee Dracula and Peter Cushing Van Helsing.
Wow.
Because, like us, he has been waiting for so long for the clouds to part on the Hammer license and the chance to actually get product out there. We are trying to rush as much as we can out, but we still want it to look really good.
Well, I gotta say the sculpts look amazing. Especially when I got Peter Cushing and I was really looking at his face, I was like, "This is it."
It's from a guy who really knows the source.
I mean, for something that's not a super high-end $70, $80, $100 figure, it's all you can ask for. Because I was looking at the Christopher Lee. There was one that was a competitor, more expensive one. But I'm really happy with my Mego one. I'm like, it looks great. I don't want to do anything to it.
We looked at. Listen, Mego looks at Hot Toys, Sideshow, and it's like, well, wait a minute, if we could get $125 for $200 for one figure, why are we knocking around at $30?
Yeah,
because you don't sell as many.
Right.
It's a much more diminishing, and it's a lot more detail and takes a lot longer. And I have to admit, the 14-inch Dracula we did is beautiful. Yeah. And it only retails for $35.
Which is crazy.
I was like, you could buy multiples.
Yeah.
You could get custom heads made.
Like you said, you could do army building.
You can build an army of Draculas.
Do monster army building. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much. I know I've taken up a lot of your time here. But once again, I really want to thank you guys for your work. As someone who grew up, going to discount stores with my grandma, and that's where I remember my first Mego was Spock.
Yeah.
And the happiness and joy that it brought me back then.
To this day, toys are time machines.
Yeah.
And it's this amazing secret
Yeah.
that you pick up an old toy and start moving it around, and for a very brief moment, you are transported back to being 7.
Yeah.
Until your back starts hurting.
Yep. Well, one question I want to ask you, and I forgot about it until just now. Do you guys worry or are concerned about, my son's here, he's 10 years old, not a toy guy?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Most of these young people play video games.
The landscape has changed.
Yeah.
Kids are out of toys a lot younger.
Yeah.
They're into video games. They're into... and I have to admit, when we were kids, if we could have sat at a computer and had a whole interactive environment, that's very attractive.
Yeah.
All we could do is take a couple guys in the backseat of the car and go, But there are properties that we see that could translate. It's more of a shark-infested water of all these different people fighting for what's new and hot. So we try to stay out of it because if you're not first to market, we have a great advantage. We can get a product out in 75 days.
That's amazing.
So we actually, that's a set. We can go to licensors and say, you want your hot movie on the shelves in time for Christmas? We can do that because we have the same body, and it's a head sculpt and some fabric, and we can move. We don't need a lot of tooling, and we can get something out there.
Yeah, that is phenomenal to be able to turn around that fast.
To have that, of course, now, it used to be 3 weeks on the water. Now it's 3 months on the water. So I don't know what, it's all gone crazy.
Well, hopefully that'll get rectified in the next couple of years.
I think I'm just going to get a boat and start and go
You're
to
at
the
that
trip.
point, yeah. I am too, because inflation's killing me.
I think I'm going to become a bootlegger again.
All right. Well, once again, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
My
and like I
pleasure.
said, I hope you guys keep continuing on, and I'm always looking forward for the next things coming down the
Mego is back.
Yeah.
The company's doing great.
Yeah.
The future's very bright.
Yeah.
Marty is full of energy.
Yeah.
We got a good, long future ahead of us.
Yeah. Excellent.
All right.